So here we are. I've got regular Space Marines here, Chaos Space Marines out here. Right now I'm just going to show you how it goes turn by turn. There are 3 phases to the turn. You have your movement phase, you have your shooting phase, and then you have your assaulting phase. Now I'll just go through it piece by piece and I'll show you what's going on here. Now when you move a miniature, you need your tape measure out. All infantry move only 6 inches. Now the most basic way to show you this is from the front of his base is 6 inches, and then he just moves up. That's it. So then the rest of his squad mates can move with him. And then of course the sergeant comes in the rear. Now when you have a squad of infantry like this, they have to keep unit coherency, which means that every single miniature has to be within 2 inches of another one. So essentially these guys are within, at the very extreme there we go, those two are in coherency. But all of this group is in coherency because these guys are within 2 inches of this guy and this guy and this guy. You could essentially have a long row of Space Marines if you wanted to. That is one tactic I have seen used. So now the Space Marines had turn 1, so now I'm going to roll to shoot. Now they carry a bolt gun. The bolt gun has a strength of 4 and a armor piercing value of 5. It also has a maximum 24-inch range. They're also called rapid fire weapons, which means that if I were to fire this weapon in this turn, I cannot assault. But that's 24 inches, way out there. So 12 inches, a rapid fire weapon can fire twice, whether or not the unit moved or not. The sergeant back here has a pistol. He only gets 1 shot at 12 inches, which he will get, because that's 12 inches right there, and then every single squad mate up front can get 2 shots each. Now, for the purposes of this video, I am going to use different dice for this. All of my regular shooting will be represented by the reds, or the black dice here, and then special weapons will be represented by the white, because they're just easier to see on camera. So, for each bolter, because they're within 12 inches, they each get 2 shots. So that is 2 times 4. So that's 4 shots each from each guy. And then the sergeant carries what is known as a plasma pistol. He gets 1 shot at 12. Now, he has a special rule on his weapon. All plasma weapons, save for a very few, have a special ability called Gets Hot. Let's see if that happens. Yes, it did. Now, you see the white die rolled a 1. Now, unfortunately, that means that this ancient weapon has gotten hot in his hands. He has to make an armor save or die, or he takes a wound. So I've got to roll a 3-up armor save. And 4-up will do it. There we go. 4-up will save him because he has a 3+ armor save. So he's alright. But unfortunately, the shot goes nowhere, so I take that one away. Now, Space Marines have a ballistic skill of 4. That means that on the 2-hit chart that's within the rulebook, it will say that for a ballistic skill of 4, you need a 3+ on a d6 to hit. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 hits out of 8 shots. Pretty good shooting. Now, these have a strength of 4. The Chaos Space Marines have a toughness of 4. So I need a 4+ to wound, which will be to do any damage. So I'm going to roll again. That is 2 wounds to the Chaos Space Marines. So now they have to roll against their armor save to save those wounds, or I lose miniatures off, or they lose miniatures off the table. So use the same dice again just for easy sake and roll. They both save on the armor values. So 3 and 4 to their 3+ armor save. They save the wounds, they don't take any damage. Now we come to the assaulting phase. Now in previous editions you were not allowed to do this, but now you can. You can pre-measure the distance between miniatures for shooting or any purpose whatsoever. These the Space Marines are within 9 inches of the Chaos. Now, assaulting, you just say, I am declaring an assault move. And unfortunately, these guys fired rapid fire weapons, which I cannot do. So I will show you that in the Chaos Space Marines turn. Now we're over to the Chaos Space Marines. Now, they are going to move the same 6 inches that their Emperor-loving brethren did as well. Moving up. 6 inches and 6 inches. Now, they're going to fire a different weapon. These are bolt pistols. So just like the sergeant on the other side, they only get one shot, but it's not a rapid fire weapon, so therefore they can still assault the same turn that they shoot. So each guy here has 1, 2, 3, there's 4 of them. Also, the sergeant back here has what's known as a combi bolter. Basically it's a bolter with another gun slung onto the bottom with a single shot. He has a combi melta, which is strength 8, AP 1. It's a very, very powerful weapon. It's meant for punching tank armor. But against the regular Space Marine, because it is a strength 8 weapon, and you have an armor value of 4 on those Space Marines, plus it is armor piercing value of 1. That means these Space Marines, if they get hit by it, goodbye. They don't get an armor save, they don't get anything. So here we go, shooting with the Chaos Space Marines. And cocked die rule, we'll roll that again. That was a miss. We get 1, 2, 3 hits, and he falls for no apparent reason. And 1 hit with the combi melta. Now, for damage table, the bolt pistols are exact same as the bolters, 4 up to wound a Space Marine with toughness 4. The melta, on the other hand, is strength 8, which is double the toughness of those Marines. But on the damage table, 1 is always a failure, so I'm looking for 2 up on that white die. Oh, a bad day for the Chaos Space Marines. No wound, no wound, no wound. This one shot is completely gone now. He can't use it anymore. But no harm done, because we're going to run into close combat and have some fun. So now what the Chaos Space Marines will do is they will say in their assault phase, which we move on from the shooting phase, we say, alright, this group is assaulting this group. So you roll 2d6 assault range. They are going to move 7 inches, which was more than enough to close this gap. But now the Space Marines on the other side can retaliate with Overwatch. So every single weapon in that squad can fire at its maximum shooting, unless it's a blast weapon like I was showing with the missile launcher. They can't fire that during a excuse me. They cannot fire that during an Overwatch, but every single guy in this squad can fire his weapon, but only at ballistic skill 1. So I need 6s to hit. So that's another 8 shots from bolter fire, and 1 shot from the plasma. Now I'm looking for 6s to hit. And I got 1 hit out of all of that. That's just 1 bolter shot. Now I gotta see if that wounds. 2. It does not. So now the Chaos Space Marines move into close combat. If this were any further away, I would say that I'm going to measure that out. But seeing as how I rolled a 7, it's not a big deal. So now we go off. Now we're into the assaulting phase. This gets a little complicated, so stay with me. Now these guys have moved in. They don't have any special rules to give them pluses to their initiative or anything like that. So, but at the most basic, both forces have initiative 4. So what's going to happen is that they're all going to fight at the same time. So the sergeant's going to move up into close combat here, and then all of these guys are going to fight all of these guys in close combat. Now every single guy that charged into close combat, they get a +1 to their attacks for this round only. So every single Space Marine here is going to get 2 attacks versus the regular 1 that they would get on their stat line, except for the sergeants. The sergeants have 2 attacks base. This is also known as an aspiring champion in the Chaos Codex. This is their sergeant. But anyway, so the aspiring champion has 3 attacks, and then the regular Space Marines each get 2 attacks base. There's all my dice. So 8 attacks plus another 3, so this could get messy. Now, we're going off of the weapon skill of each fighter. Each one is 4 and 4, so for the easiest way to go about it is 4 and 4, you need 4 up. So, here we go. So, there's a hit, there's 2 more, there's another one, and another one. These are all misses. The sergeant missed twice. Ugh. Okay, now we have to wound. Now, I've got to wound the Space Marines here, I need to roll a 4+ to get past their armor. It's just like the bolters, so 4 to 4, 4 up. So let's see how these guys do. Very nice roll indeed. Alright, now we've got 2 wounds from the regular Space Marines here, but the Aspiring Champion dealt a wound with his power weapon. Now that is an AP2 weapon, strength 4. Now, that is going to go right through the armor of the Space Marines here. Unfortunately, that is going to kill one of them straight off. Now, these 2 regular wounds I can save, or the Space Marines can save at 3+. Let's see how they do. They don't. So that is 2 more dead Space Marines. Now, in close combat, you do everything by initiative. Now, because they all have the same initiative, even though these guys have died, they still get their attacks because they all strike at the same time. So that gives me 1, 2, 3, 4, and the Sergeant has 2. He also has a power weapon, so there's 2 hits for him, and then 4 dice for the regular guys. Same thing as before, we need 4s to hit. And unfortunately, that was pretty sad. That's all of the hits. So now I need a 4 to wound. And a 5 to wound. So now one of these Chaos Space Marines has to make a armor save at 3+. He does make it at 3 up, so he doesn't die. So none of the Chaos Space Marines died, and the casualties on this side are 3 guys. So now, unfortunately, these Space Marines have lost close combat. So now they have to roll against their leadership value, which is 9, but since they've lost 3 wounds, -3. Check me on that one if I'm wrong, if someone knows. Okay, now the Space Marines have failed their leadership check on a 12. Not a good day for them. So now what they need to do is they need to fall back. They need to make 2d6 movement back towards their table edge, which is 6 inches. Now 6 inches is straight backwards from the back of their base to here. And they just run. Run, 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 run. Now because they're Space Marines, they automatically get a regrouping roll. But normally, if these weren't Space Marines, because they don't have the special rule, and they shall know no fear, they would have to make a leadership check on their next movement phase to try and regroup. Let's say, for argument's sake, that they do. So they have got, on their movement phase now, they're able to regroup and turn around. Now they can fire back at the Chaos Space Marines again. So there it is. That's how Warhammer 40,000 is played at its most basic. There are a lot of different things to do when you're setting up your table. You can have different objectives, like Delrin and I had. There are ways to just do gameplays where you've got 2 massive, huge armies. That's called an apocalypse game. That would be 3,000 points plus. But at its most basic, that is how the game is played. Vehicle rules and all that, if you have any questions about that, I can do a separate piece on that, but typically it's not too complicated. It's actually pretty simple, but there it is. So please, if you have comments or questions, please add them below. More battle reports and whatnot to come, and I think I'm going to be doing a video game again next. So thanks a lot for your time, and guys, comments and questions below. Like it, sub it. I really appreciate you guys watching. Thank you again. We'll see you then.